Hey there everyone, Jared here from 3 Sprockets. For today's Kickstarter update, I'm going to be taking you through the enemy system in the Adventure Construction Kit for Fight the Dragon. So clearly enemies are a pretty key part of any action RPG. Not just what enemies you place, but where you place them and the behaviour that they have when they're in the game. So to demonstrate the system that we've set up, I've got a pre-built level here. We call it Crypts. This is just the start of the area. In the bottom left corner you can see I've got the player spawn point. It's a little raised pedestal there. The player will spawn there, walk along this path or through the gravestones on the side. They can either then turn left or turn right, head down these alleyways into one of the doors, into this sarcophagus room. So I want to have some enemies in the graveyard area. I might make them patrol. I want to have some stationary enemies inside this sarcophagus room. So to start with, I'm going to open my menu, go to Entities, and go to Enemy, which gives me my enemy toolbar. So I can open that, and I can choose what type of enemy I want to place in the level. We sort all of our enemies by their basic behavior type, so we've got melee, mini-boss, and ranged. Melee is your basic melee fighters, so skeletons, trolls, rats, that kind of thing. Mini-bosses are special enemies. Any enemy that has unusual behavior will be put in here, so the Necromancer summons skeletons and the Rock Golem summons little rock golems. We've also got ranged, so the Goblin throws bombs, the Pyromancer throws fireballs, stuff like that. We've also got the random option in each category, and the random option will choose a different enemy from that category every time the game starts, so you can use that to mix up your adventures a bit. To start with, I might just go with a skeleton. Now, to place one, I just need to click on a tile, and that'll place a card. Little two-dimensional card there. So I've now got my skeleton. It shows me a little bit of information about it. So for a melee attack, he's got a sword, and he has no ranged attack. And I can see the red circle around him. Just zoom out a bit, yep. So the red circle shows the awake radius of that enemy. So as soon as the player walks inside that red circle, the enemy will wake up and start attacking him. So I can change the behavior by clicking on the skeleton and cycling these. The attack behavior is the standard behavior. When a player wakes up this enemy, the skeleton will chase them until they can either no longer reach them or are killed. If they can no longer reach them, they'll just wait there until they come into contact with another player. I can also go to Defend. In Defend, when an enemy loses sight of a player, they will return to their original spawn point, so that's good for when you want to protect like a set of chests or the exit to a level. And I can also open Patrol, which lets me make an enemy walk through the level at points I specify. And you can see when I went to Patrol, it added an extra set of controls below. So what I might do is make the skeleton walk around the path through the sarcophagus room. So to do that, I'm going to click Modify Patrol, and then I just need to left click the areas where I want him to go. So if I click that tile down there, it's placed a point, and it shows the path that the enemy will take. So I'll place another one here, around the side here, and there. I can also remove existing points, and it will just update the path accordingly. Place one through there. I should also mention that enemies can walk through most doors unless they're locked by a lever or a pressure plate. So now I've got him on a path that will walk him around the room, through the door on the left, around the sarcophagus, through the door on the right, and he'll end up outside. Now he's currently in ping pong patrol, and that means he'll walk the entire length of his path. When he gets to the end, he'll turn around and walk the path in reverse back to his start point. What I can do is change it to loop, and you'll see when I changed it to loop, it added an extra point at the end of my path. At the end of the path, if an enemy is a loop patrol, it will pathfind to the start of its patrol and then start again. So I might leave him as loop and close that. I'll place another skeleton on the right and another skeleton on the left. That way I can see that this skeleton's awake radius covers most of the left grave, most of the graves on the left side of the path, and this one covers most of the graves on the right side of the path. So no matter what, when the player walks through the starting area, it will attract an enemy. Now I might place a couple of rats. I'll place one on the right and on the left here. And I'll make these guys patrol just back and forwards across the starting area. And I'll leave them on as a ping-pong patrol because I want them to reverse their path at the end. Okay, so now I've got 2 rats patrolling the starting area, a skeleton patrolling the inner sarcophagus room and the outer cemetery, and I've got 2 stationary skeletons on the left and right of the starting path. Now these side alleyways are good for ranged enemies because they've got a good line of sight on the player. Ranged enemies typically have quite a large awake radius, as you can see there, so they'll see they'll see the player as they come around the corner and start taking shots at them. But you can also see that most ranged enemies have a melee attack, so in this case this ranged skeleton will shoot the bow until the player gets close enough, and they'll then switch to a sword. So I'll place another skeleton on the other side here. Cool. So I think that'll do me for the outside of the cemetery, or the crypts. For the inside of the sarcophagus I want to do something a bit special. So I might make a necromancer. Now the necromancer can attack with its staff as a melee attack, which knocks the player back, but its primary attack is a summon skeleton, so it will actually summon other skeletons around the player. So I'll keep that necromancer in there, and I'll make him defend. And I'll then back him up with a couple of other basic skeletons. Okay, that should do it. And that just about covers the enemy system. Thanks for watching.